Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Welcomes to Chartered Accountant channel. Today taking about Chapter, Theoretical Framework. Unit 1, Meaning and Scope of Accounting. Video No. 5. Role of Accountant in the Society. There are only a few types of profession in the world which are held in high esteem in public eyes, and there is no denying the fact that the accounting profession is one of them. Goethe had called the accountant's profession as the fairest invention of the human mind. At the core of all types of learned profession, there is the desire of public good and of finding the best way to serve society. By the use of the science of accountancy and under the spell of its art, a dynamic pattern which assists business in planning its future is woven by accountants out of the inert mass of non-speaking silent figures. This is what makes their profession an instrument of socio-economic change and welfare of the society. An accountant with his education, training, analytical mind, and experience is best qualified to provide multiple need-based services to the ever-growing society. The accountants of today can do full justice not only to matters relating to taxation, costing, management accounting, financial layout, company legislation and procedures, but they can delve deep into the fields relating to financial policies, budgetary policies, and even economic principles. The area of activities which can be undertaken by the accountants is not limited, but it can also cover many additional facets. Areas of service. The practice of accountancy has crossed its usual domain of preparation of financial statements, interpretation of such statements and audit thereof. Accountants are presently taking active role in company laws and other corporate legislation matters, in taxation laws matters, both direct and indirect, and in general management problems. Some of the services rendered by accountants to the society are briefly mentioned here under. Number 1, Maintenance of books of accounts. An accountant is able to maintain a systematic record of financial transactions in order to establish the net result of the transactions entered into during a period and to state the financial position of the concern as at a particular date. For the fulfillment of the twin objective of ascertaining the profit earned or loss suffered and the financial position, it is necessary that all transactions be recorded in a systematic manner, which can be done only by an accountant. Proper maintenance of books of accounts assists management in planning, decision-making, controlling functions. Number 2, Statutory Audit. Every limited company is required to appoint a chartered accountant or a firm of chartered accountants as their auditor, who are statutorily required to report each year whether in their opinion the balance sheet shows a true and fair view of the state of affairs on the balance sheet date, and the profit and loss account shows a true and fair view of the profit or loss for the year. Auditing is not confined to the accounts of companies. Other organizations may also have their accounts audited, either because the law so requires, for example, the Cooperative Societies Act, the Income Tax Act, etc., or because the proprietors wisely decided so, for example, a partnership firm or an individual trader. Number 3, Internal Audit. It is a management tool whereby an internal auditor thoroughly examines the accounting transactions and also the system, according to which these have been recorded, with a view to ensure the management that the accounts are being properly maintained and the system contains adequate safeguards to check any leakage of revenue or misappropriation of property or assets, and the operations have been carried out in conformity with the plans of management. Nowadays, internal auditing has developed as a service to management. The internal auditor constructively contributes in improving the operational efficiency of the business through an independent review and appraisal of all business operations. Number 4, Taxation. An accountant can handle taxation matters of a business or a person, and he can represent that business or person before the tax authorities and settle the tax liability under the statute prevailing. He can also assist in avoiding or reducing tax burden by proper planning of tax affairs. Accountants also have a social obligation to express their views on broad tax policy, on the effect of tax rate on business and the economy in general, and on all other aspects of taxation in which they have knowledge superior to that of the general public. Number 5. Management accounting and consultancy services. Management accountant performs an advisory function. He is largely responsible for internal reporting to the management for planning and controlling current operations, decision-making on special matters, and for formulating long-range plans. His job is to collect, analyze, interpret, and present all accounting information which is useful to the management. Accountant provides management consultancy services in the areas of management information system, expenditure control, and evaluation of appraisal techniques for new investments and divestments, working capital management, corporate planning, etc. Number 6. Financial advice. Many people need help and guidance in planning their personal financial affairs. An accountant who knows about finances, taxation, and family problems is well placed to give such advice. Some of the areas in which an accountant can render financial advice are: A. Investments. An accountant can explain the significance of the formidable documents which shareholders receive from companies and help in making decisions relating to their investments. B. Insurance. An accountant can provide information to his clients on various insurance policies and helps in choosing appropriate policy. C. Business expansion. As businesses grow in size and complexity and mergers are being considered, accountants are in the forefront in interpreting accounts, making suggestions as to the form of schemes and the fairness of proposals, considering cost and financial consequences, and generally advising their clients. They also advise on how to set about the problem of borrowing money or whether this is an appropriate method of finance. Accountants can render extremely useful service in connection of negotiations with foreign collaborators. D. Investigations. Financial investigations are required for a variety of purposes. Examples are: I. To ascertain the financial position of a business, for the information of interested parties in connection with an issue of capital, the purchase or sale of the business, or a reconstruction or amalgamation. 2. To help the management to decide whether it is cheaper to manufacture an article or to buy out. 3. To ascertain why profits have fallen. 4. To achieve greater efficiency in management. V. To ascertain whether fraud has occurred, and if so, its nature and extent, and to make suggestions which will help to prevent a recurrence. 6. To value businesses and shares in private companies for purposes such as purchase, sale, estate duty, or wealth tax, etc. For such problems requiring financial investigation, you need an accountant. His task as an independent professional is to establish the facts fairly and clearly for the benefit of those who have to make decisions, and to give advice in many areas in which he has competence and experience. E. Pension schemes. Specialist advice from actuaries, insurance agents, or insurance company is needed before launching or amending a provident fund or pension scheme in a business. But before making a final decision, an accountant has to be consulted. Later on, his help may be needed for managing the scheme or obtaining tax relief. Number 7. Other services. A. Secretarial work. Companies, clubs, and associations, indeed, virtually all organizations involve secretarial work. Accountants frequently do this work. B. Share registration work. Accountants are often used by many companies to undertake the work involved in registering share transfers and new issues. C. Company formation. In conjunction with legal advisors, accountants help in the formation of a company or advise against doing so. D. Receiverships, liquidations, etc. An accountant has to sometimes take on the onerous duties of liquidator when a company is being wound up, or receiver when a debenture holder exercises a right to recover a loan on which the borrower has defaulted. Accountant is just the man for the job. He is also just the man to help you to keep insolvency away if you consult him in time. E. Arbitrations. At times, accountants are invited by parties to act as arbitrators in a dispute or settle disputes of various kinds. F. As regards the cost accounts, a cost accountant's job is to continuously report cost data and related information at frequent intervals to the management. G. Accountant and information services. An accountant will be effective in his role if he supplies the information promptly and in an unambiguous language. He should develop a system by which there is a regular flow of information both horizontally and vertically. The information system should be such that comparability of financial statement is possible both business-wise and year-wise, so that it benefits both the management and the investors. Dependence on data from the computerized information system will put new responsibilities on an accountant, but his product will command greater attention and respect. Thank for watching. Follow videos and learn more.